What if nothing they say ever touches you again? No anger rising in your chest, no urge to explain yourself, no emotional reaction for them to feed on, just silence, calm, control. Marcus Aurelius lived surrounded by chaos, wars at the borders, plagues in the streets, betrayal from those he trusted most. Yet history remembers him not for panic, but for composure. In his private journal, never meant for the world to read, he wrote a simple but terrifying idea: act as if nothing bothers you. Not because nothing hurts, but because letting things hurt you gives them power. Most people are controlled by reactions. Insults pull them, criticism shakes them, disrespect consumes them. Marcus understood something different. Your reaction is the final decision, and you don't have to give it away. The moment you stop reacting, people feel it. Arguments lose fuel. Manipulation fails. Your calm becomes unsettling. This isn't pretending. This is discipline. This is strength trained in silence. Acting unbothered doesn't make you weak, it makes you unreachable. And once you become unreachable, everything changes. Part 1. Story context. Imagine having absolute power and still feeling powerless inside. Marcus Aurelius was not just a philosopher, he was the most powerful man in the world. As Roman emperor, he ruled over an empire of nearly 70 million people, stretching across continents, nearly one-third of humanity at the time. Generals bowed before him. Kings feared his decisions. Entire cities rose or fell by his word. Yet Marcus Aurelius did not inherit peace. He inherited chaos. For more than 15 years, Rome was locked in relentless wars along its borders. A devastating pandemic known today as the Antonine Plague swept through the empire, killing millions. And inside his own court, trusted allies betrayed him, plotting quietly in the shadows. Most rulers responded to this kind of pressure with rage, paranoia, and cruelty. Marcus responded differently. At night alone, after commanding armies and judging nations, Marcus Aurelius opened a small journal, not to record victories, not to glorify himself, but to remind himself how to remain human. These writings, later known as meditations, were never meant for the world to read. They were meant to save one man's mind. And in those pages, Marcus wrote a sentence that would define Stoicism for centuries. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Say it with me now. Slowly, power over your mind. Marcus understood something most people never do. Pain does not come from events themselves. Events are neutral. Pain comes from the story we tell ourselves about what happens to us. Modern psychology confirms this. Studies show that more than 90% of emotional distress is caused not by situations, but by interpretation. Marcus Aurelius understood this truth nearly 1800 years before modern therapy existed. When he was insulted, Marcus did not immediately react. When he was betrayed, he did not explode. When surrounded by death, disease, and uncertainty, he did not collapse into despair. Instead, he paused. He observed his thoughts, and he asked a simple question: is this within my control? If the answer was no, he released it. Marcus wrote, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Pause with me for a moment. Inhale, exhale. Notice how control begins to return. Today, people lose their peace over comments, emails, opinions, and social media posts. Neuroscience shows that emotional reactions can happen in under 300 milliseconds, faster than conscious thought. Marcus trained himself to slow that moment down. Because he understood one fundamental truth: the moment you react without awareness, you give your power away. Marcus Aurelius was not emotionless. He was disciplined. He did not pretend that nothing bothered him. He chose not to be ruled by what bothered him, and that choice, repeated daily, became inner control. This is where many people misunderstand Stoicism. Acting unbothered is not emotional numbness. It is emotional mastery. And in the next part, we will uncover the Stoic rule that protects your mind from chaos and teaches you how to act as if nothing bothers you without losing your humanity. Part 2. The Stoic rule that protects your mind. Acting unbothered does not mean feeling nothing. It means feeling everything and choosing wisely. This is where most people misunderstand Stoicism. They imagine a Stoic as cold, distant, or emotionless. Marcus Aurelius was none of those things. He felt anger, he felt disappointment, he felt grief, but he refused to be ruled by them. Marcus wrote, "Do not let your emotions overpower your intelligence." That sentence alone destroys the myth of emotional suppression. Stoicism is not about killing emotion. It is about placing emotion under command. To act as if nothing bothers you means three precise disciplines, no more, no less. First, you refuse to give emotional control to others. Every time someone provokes you and you instantly react, something subtle happens. You hand them the steering wheel of your inner world. They decide your mood. They decide your peace. They decide your next move. Marcus Aurelius lived surrounded by people who wanted power. Flatterers, critics, rivals. If he reacted emotionally to each one, he would have been destroyed from the inside long before any enemy touched him. He reminded himself, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Say it with me now. Slowly, I refuse to give emotional control to others." Pause. Breathe. Notice how strength returns the moment you say it. Second, acting unbothered means you observe before reacting. Stoicism inserts a pause between stimulus and response. That pause is everything. Viktor Frankl, centuries later, echoed Marcus Aurelius when he said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Modern neuroscience proves this is not poetry, it is biology. When you pause for just 6 seconds before reacting activity in the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system drops by more than 60%. 6 seconds. That is all it takes to reclaim command. Marcus practiced this pause relentlessly. He wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That sentence cannot exist without awareness. It demands observation before action. Pause with me now. Inhale. Exhale. Let the urgency fade. Third, to act as if nothing bothers you means remaining sovereign over your inner world. Sovereignty means ownership. It means your peace does not depend on people, circumstances, or outcomes. No one enters your inner world without permission. Say it with me. No one enters my inner world without permission. Most people live in emotional democracy. Everyone gets a vote, a comment, an opinion, a look, a message. Stoics live in emotional sovereignty. There is one ruler awareness. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he never confused that with true power. He wrote, "You can be calm if you want. Peace is always available to you." Now look at the modern world. Social media is engineered around reaction. Outrage creates clicks. Anger creates engagement. Fear creates addiction. Calm creates independence. When you stop reacting, you break the system. Arguments lose fuel. Manipulation collapses. Your presence becomes unsettling not because it is loud, but because it cannot be moved. People feel it when they cannot reach you. And when they cannot reach you, they cannot control you. Here is a practical Stoic exercise you can begin tonight. Write down one thing that disturbed you today, just one. Now ask a single question. Was this under my control? If the answer is no, write this sentence beneath it. Then it does not deserve my peace. Psychological studies show that repeated cognitive reframing like this can reduce anxiety by over 40% within weeks. Marcus Aurelius performed this exercise internally every day. He prepared his mind in advance. He wrote, "Begin the morning by saying to yourself, I shall meet busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial." Expectation removes emotional ambush. What no longer surprises you cannot control you. Acting unbothered is not indifference. It is selectivity. You choose carefully what deserves your energy and what does not. This is not weakness. This is mental armor. And once you understand this rule, a new question emerges. How do you live this discipline when people provoke you directly, when silence feels uncomfortable, when detachment feels risky? In the next part, we will turn Stoic philosophy into lived behavior. We will explore silence detachment and inner discipline, the exact tools Marcus Aurelius used to remain unshaken in a world designed to disturb him. Part 3, How Stoics Stay Unshaken. Power does not always announce itself. Sometimes power is silent. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. In a world of shouting, demanding, and reacting, he chose a different weapon: silence. Lesson 1, silence is power. When someone tries to provoke you, they are not seeking truth. They are seeking control. They want your reaction because your reaction feeds their influence. Marcus wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Silence starves provocation. It leaves manipulation with nothing to work on." Think about modern arguments online or in real life. The loudest voice rarely wins. The calmest presence does. Studies in conflict psychology show that individuals who remain calm during confrontation are perceived as more dominant and trustworthy within the first 10 seconds. Calm is authority. Pause with me now. Inhale. Exhale. Say it quietly. Silence is strength. Lesson 2. Detachment is freedom. Most people suffer not because they lack ability, but because they crave validation. They need to be seen, approved, liked, and that need becomes a leash. Marcus Aurelius warned against this. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? When you depend on external approval, others decide your worth. But when your validation comes from within, manipulation loses its grip. Modern research supports this. People with strong internal validation experience up to 40% less anxiety and significantly lower stress-related illness. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. Say it with me, I care, but I do not cling. Lesson 3. Inner discipline is greater than outer control. You cannot control people. You cannot control events. But you can control access, how deeply things are allowed to enter you. Marcus trained this daily. He did not wake up expecting kindness. He expected ignorance. He expected selfishness. He expected disrespect. And because he expected it, it no longer shocked him. He wrote, "Begin the morning by saying to yourself, today, I shall meet interference, ingratitude, arrogance, deceit." Expectation removes emotional ambush. What no longer surprises you cannot control you. Pause again. Breathe. Say it with me. I am not surprised. I am prepared. Here is a practical Stoic exercise you can apply immediately. For the next 7 days, practice delayed response. When something irritates you, a message, a comment, a tone of voice, do nothing for 60 seconds. Just observe. Name the emotion silently: anger, frustration, ego. Studies show that naming emotions reduces their intensity by up to 30%. Awareness dissolves impulse. Marcus Aurelius lived this way long before neuroscience existed. He disciplined his inner world so thoroughly that chaos outside lost its power. This is what acting unbothered truly looks like. Not coldness, not arrogance, but control. Silence when others shout. Detachment when others cling. Discipline when others collapse. Say it with me now slowly: I choose discipline over drama. And here is the transformation most people never reach. When this discipline becomes your identity, something shifts. You stop needing to prove yourself. You stop reacting to noise. Your presence alone changes the room. People feel it when they cannot move you. They feel it when their words bounce off you. And that leads us to the final awakening. Because once you master silence, detachment, and discipline, you become something rare, unreachable, unbreakable. In the final part, we will reach the emotional peak of Stoicism and uncover why acting unbothered does not make you weak. It makes you free. Part 4. Why acting unbothered is true power. Most people live their lives in reaction. Something happens and they move. Someone speaks and they feel. Someone disrespects them and they collapse inwardly. Marcus Aurelius saw this pattern clearly, and he chose to step out of it. He wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." Read that again slowly. This sentence does not deny pain. It exposes choice. The Stoic understands that between stimulus and suffering, there is a decision, and that decision belongs to you. Most people react. The Stoic responds. Most people complain. The Stoic adapts. Pause with me now. Inhale. Exhale. Say it quietly: I choose my response. Acting unbothered does not mean you are passive. It means you are precise. You do not waste energy on what cannot be controlled. You invest it where it matters. Marcus Aurelius ruled during one of the most unstable periods in Roman history, yet he refused to let instability rule him. He wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining, not because suffering is easy, but because complaining multiplies it." Modern research confirms this. Chronic complaining increases stress hormones and weakens emotional regulation. Calm acceptance, on the other hand, improves resilience and decision-making. Marcus lived this truth daily. He did not become unbothered overnight. He trained it. Every insult was practice. Every delay was practice. Every disappointment was practice. This is the awakening most people never reach. When you stop reacting, something unexpected happens. People notice. The person who once provoked you feels powerless. The person who tried to manipulate you feels exposed. The noise around you begins to fade. Calm is unsettling to those who live in chaos. Say it with me now. My calm is my power. Acting unbothered does not make you weak. Weakness is being controlled by every word, every look, every opinion. Acting unbothered makes you unreachable. And when you are unreachable, you become unbreakable. Marcus Aurelius never needed to dominate others. He dominated himself. That is why his words still guide millions nearly 2,000 years later. He understood this final truth. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Pause again. Breathe. Notice where your thoughts are right now. Here is your final Stoic practice. For the next 7 days, when something disturbs you, ask one question before reacting. Does this deserve my inner peace? If the answer is no, let it pass. This is not avoidance. This is mastery. And now remember this, the world will not become quieter. People will not become kinder. Life will not become easier. But you can become stronger, calmer, unshaken. Marcus Aurelius showed us how. Act as if nothing bothers you, not because nothing hurts, but because your peace is worth protecting. And when you protect your peace, you protect your power. If you're tired of being emotionally controlled, listen carefully. Every reaction you give feeds the chaos, and every moment you stay calm builds power. This channel exists for one reason: to help you master your mind and your life. Here on Making Life Better, we study timeless wisdom from Marcus Aurelius' Stoicism and mental discipline that turns pressure into strength. If you want to be unshaken, if you want to walk through life untouched by noise, subscribe now, not later. Now. And before you go, I want you to do one simple thing. Go to the comments and write one word: unshaken. Not for me, for yourself. Because the strongest people don't shout. They don't react. They choose inner peace, and they become unstoppable.